This episode of Try This is 100% my opinions and experience and is not brought to you by Robomow.
Introducing Robomow Rs630, the most powerful robotic lawnmower on the market that covers lawns of up to 3,000 square meters. But the Rs630 goes beyond strength. It's also very quiet and has additional unique advantages that make all the difference.
Go to patreon.com/tiltedtripodmedia. Support this channel by becoming a member and unlock the future of video. Click that subscribe button and smash that bell icon. Yeah! Hello you guys, Chris here, and I'm back finally with another episode of Try This. I know it's been quite some time since I've done an episode of Try This, and that's because I have a very highly anticipated and super amazing product to share with you, and it is the Robomow Rs630. Now, if anyone's been keeping up with the current weather around the United States, it has been rainy, very rainy, especially here in Ohio in general. It's just been rainy and storming, and I haven't had a chance to get outside and film where it hasn't been raining. Finally, today, it stopped raining for like maybe 0.25 seconds. I don't know. It was literally just raining right before I came out here. So I'm going to do a very in-depth review of the Robomow, show you all the features, what I like and don't like about it, and I will also eventually do a video on the Husqvarna Automower, which I have a lot of experience with. In fact, I have a lot of experience with the Robomow too, because I had one back in 2014 and I used it so much that it died and whatnot, and so I will end up doing a comparison video eventually on both these two mowers and put them head to head. So let's get into the review. So this is my backyard, and yeah, I know it doesn't look that great. There's a lot of weeds in it. I try my best to keep the weeds out, and they just keep coming back. It's a never-ending battle. That and the voles. We have a lot of voles here in Cincinnati, apparently, and they tear up your yard, and so you just kind of get to the point where you just give up. But anyways, that's my yard, and this is the Robomow Rs630, and I built, well, I didn't really build, but I bought one of those Suncast, yes, it's a Suncast dog hut, the extra large size, and the Robomow fits perfectly inside. You can see, there it is in its little home. And the charger and everything's inside. And I will show you the charger and everything once I have the mower out. But I built this dog hut just because the Robomow is weatherproof. You can leave it out in the rain, but I just didn't feel great leaving a $2,000 plus mower out in the elements all the time. So it now has its own hut. And I have seen some of those, fancier robotic lawnmower garages where they have the doors that open and close, and I've just not been able to figure out how to do that. So the Robomow comes with rolls of this boundary wire. It's like 14 gauge, I believe, and with mine, because I got one of the bigger models, it comes with 2 rolls of this wire. It came with this tool for pulling off the lawnmower blades, and lots of these little bitty pegs that you are going to stake into the ground. I don't know if my camera will focus on them, but anyways, let's see. You're supposed to put all of these in the ground to peg the wire down and keep it as close to the ground as possible so your mower doesn't chop it up, and that way you're not tripping on it. So this is the Robo Ruler. And how this works is you are going to, depending on whether you're doing a wall edge or the edge of your lawn, like, next to your driveway or sidewalk, you're going to use this to measure the distance from the edge of whatever you're doing, and then you would place the wire, like, right there. So I have the wire running right through there, and that allows the lawnmower to not run into your landscaping block border or, out into the street. So right here you can see where I've staked the wire. You can see the little pegs, and that's the wire, and you just need to stake it down tight enough so that the mower doesn't catch on it and that people don't trip on it. It's been about 2 weeks since I did this, and yes, it takes a long time. It took me 12 hours to do about a 15,000 square foot yard all the way around the edge. And then of course you have to go back and make little adjustments to make sure that the mower isn't running into the edge of anything, you know, like the wall or whatever as it goes around corners. They do say it should be buried and disappear all on its own within a few weeks. With my experience, more like months, but it does eventually disappear because I do have a lot of experience, and I mean a lot, putting in all of this robotic lawnmower wire. So the manufacturer actually recommends that you run a wire around any small trees or sensitive plants that don't have a sturdy border around them. This is an example of one in my yard. I've chose not to do that. I will put a diagram up on the screen of what the manufacturer is talking about so it makes more sense. Anyways, I've chose not to do that because I know this tree is going to grow bigger and stronger and eventually won't need that wire setup, so I just put some wooden stakes in the ground so that the mower will bump into those instead of the tree, because when the lawnmower runs into this tree, it almost runs right over top of it, and that's not good. Bigger trees like that magnolia tree and this tulip tree here, they do just fine. So this is the Robomow base station for charging. It does not come with this dog hut. I like to call it the Robomow garage. You can see the base station gets quite dirty after it has mowed several times. Back there, that green blinking light means that the Robomow is out mowing the yard. I coiled up the extra power charging cord back there, nice and neat. That green wire coming in is the boundary wire. And you can see those two metal prongs, that's what the Robomow drives up to. It will then insert those into the mower, making contact and then allowing the mower to recharge. It's a very nice base station. You get these metal pegs that allow you to secure it into the ground. And I mean, that's basically it for the charger. So once you've put in your passcode, you're presented with the zones that you've previously set up when you got the mower. And you've got main zone. I have a zone 1, 2, and 3. You might have more zones or less zones, and this allows you to choose a zone. I'm going to do the main zone, and you have the first option, which is to mow the lawn and also edge the lawn, or you can just mow the lawn. I'm going to do the edging and mowing the lawn together, and so I will hit enter. It beeps and warms up. And then it will back out of the garage. And you can see the blades engage immediately as it goes around to cut. Now, of course, because I have this doghouse or lawnmower garage put here, it's obviously bumping into it because it takes up a little bit more space, but that's not really a problem. But then it goes and finds the edges of the lawn and mows around them. Now, the manufacturer does recommend picking up small branches, toys, and all kinds of objects out of your lawn so that the Robomow does not mow over top of it, because the steel blades will damage the item or chop it up. And it's obviously not good for the blades. But, for example, let's say you did have a twig or something in the lawn, you know, and you forgot to pick it up or whatnot. It can go over small branches and that kind of thing just fine, but here's a good example. You can see that one, it didn't even want to go over. It just sort of went around it. And of course it went over that one just fine. So one feature that this mower has is Smart Mow. And as you can see, when it goes up to the boundary wire, rather than stopping and reversing, which takes up more time and more battery and is slower, it will actually drive up almost to the edge of the wire and then immediately make a turn and go off in a different direction without stopping. You can see it demonstrated right here. And you can set how far into the wire it will drive before making that turn. So this is an example of the edge mowing feature, and you can see it does a wonderful job mowing along soft edge surfaces, like you see here. However, when you get to an edge like alongside your house or landscape border, it clearly cannot trim right up to the edge. And I mean really, can any lawnmower do this? A gas-powered mower surely can't. So unfortunately, you are still going to need your string trimmer. So here's an example of the Robomow going up to a kind of smaller tree and running into it. You can see the tree shaked a little bit, but it didn't really do much of anything to the tree itself. So here's another example of it running into a tree, a little bit bigger tree this time, but I want you to take a listen to what the Robomow sounds like. It's not exactly the quietest robotic lawnmower, however, it's not loud by any means, because a conventional gas-powered mower or even one of those battery-powered push mowers is going to be a lot louder. I can say if you're out in the yard next to the mower, you can hear it. Otherwise, you really don't notice it, and especially if you're inside, you can't hear a thing. So I'm going to go over the controls of the Robomow Rs630. You have your LCD screen right here. This is your selector button, up and down to get through the menus. That is back button, and obviously that's enter or go to start mowing. This is your emergency stop as well as your handle. If you open this hatch, this gives you your height adjustment. And I don't know why they did it in millimeters. I don't know. This is definitely, I bought this in the United States, and I believe this company is a U.S. company. But I do know that they do sell a lot of these overseas in the U.K. and whatnot, and in Europe. If you had the Bluetooth controller, they make a standalone controller that you can buy for it, that it would go in there. There is a on-off switch to power it on and off when you want to do maintenance on it. And also, if you need to do any further maintenance, there's a fuse underneath there which you would want to pull out, and that will mean the mower cannot start at all. So this is the underside of the Robomow, and as you can see, these wheels are really wide. They have, a really good, that's got to be 3 inches wide maybe. They have a really good traction on them because of the large footprint and the large contact that they make with the ground. And these are the dual steel blades for the lawnmower, and they're very heavy duty. These are the high cut blades, which allow the mower to mow higher, like around 3 inches. They do make a low cut blade, which is slightly different. It uses this front caster wheel. And yeah, that's really the underside of the mower. You can tell it's been mowing, and you can tell how, it makes this little, these are the clippings that it does. Really, really fine, almost like, a blenderized. It's really great for your lawn. So Robomow gives you this tool, and this tool is used for popping the blades on and off. They tell you the blades are good for 2 cutting seasons, and that after the first cutting season, you would want to pop them off and actually not flip them over, but like swap them, the left one to the right one and the right one to the left one, because they spin in opposite directions and both sides of the blade are sharpened. Now, the difference between these blades and the ones on other robotic mowers, these are really strong steel, large blades, and the other ones are more like little razor blades that you would get in a knife. And those little tiny razor blades you have to cut or you have to change them really often. And I hate that. Like every couple of cuttings you're having to change them. Yes, they're cheap, and these ones are more expensive. These ones are like $80 versus the other ones which are like $2 or $3. But I mean, it all comes out to be the same. It's just how often do you want to be flipping over your mower and changing the blades. But this is how you would take them off. You're going to take this tool, and I know it's not the easiest thing, and especially since I'm filming, it's not going to be really easy. But you're supposed to put it in here, Well, maybe it will be easier than I thought. Yep, and then they just pop off like that. And you would take the blade and place it on here, and take that blade and place it on there. And then once you've used them for 2 cutting seasons, then, you know, they're done, obviously. So I just wanted to give you a look at the inside of the Robomow Rs630. You can see there on the left that green is the casing, and there's 4 tabs, 2 on the top and 2 underneath, that allow you to easily pop it off. And that's the inside. You can see the 2 motors there for the blades, one on the left and one on the right. And then back there is the height adjustment for adjusting the cutting height. And in the center is the GSM GPS module that allows for internet connectivity. And you can see right here my lawn is nice and cut. There's a close-up of it. There's my hand in it. That is not really tall at all. A lot different from before. And of course I do like to keep my lawn on the taller side, so it's healthier for it. So here's what my yard looks like after having the mower for about a week and using it. And I'd have to say the results are fantastic. Outside of the lawnmower tracks around the edge, which just has to do with the fact that it's heavy and it's going around the same spot, you know, over and over every time it goes to a different zone or back to the charger. So I have to say, I really do love the Robomow Rs630. It is a really fantastic lawnmower. It does a great job mulching up your lawn clippings, making them disappear into the lawn, feeding your lawn, and making it healthier and greener. So one thing that I love about the Robomow is that it has about an 1.5 to 2 hour runtime. And that doesn't seem very long compared to other robotic mowers in the industry. But that's okay because it has a really wide cutting width, which allows the mower to be more efficient and get the job done quickly. Another great feature of the Robomow is that it has an app that connects over Bluetooth, and new for the 2019 models, it has a GSM module with GPS, which allows you to control it via Alexa or the Robomow app from wherever you're at, or there is also a web application. And I will demonstrate the app and all of its features in a future upcoming video on Try This. So don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe. So there's really only 2 things I don't like about the Robomow. And the first thing I don't like about the Robomow is that it uses the boundary wire to get from one spot to another, from the charger to the different zones and also back to the charger. This means it has to reserve more battery life to do that, meaning that it can't mow for as long of a period. And this also means that it leaves tracks on the edge of your yard because it's driving over the exact same spot over and over and over. And yes, it does have the near wire follow, but if you have a narrow pass in your yard like I do, in my experience, the near wire follow won't work. Your mower will not go through the narrow pass zone if you have the near wire follow feature enabled. So another thing that I wish the Robomow had is it does have GPS in the mower itself, but they only use it at the moment for theft. So if your mower gets stolen, they can track it down and find it for you. I wish they would use the GPS for navigation. It would make the mower a lot more efficient. And I wish that you could see a map of where it's been mowing, just like the Husqvarna. But, you know, that's kind of a minor thing, not really a big one. And I do wish it had its own guide wire that you could run through the middle of the yard. It would get it back to the charger more efficiently, but, and again, more of a minor thing. So, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, really, why am I buying this? And I'm sure most people would say, well, to mow my lawn, of course. And I have to say, it does a fantastic job of doing just that. So that is why I am giving the Robomow Rs630 a big thumbs up. Well, that about does it for another episode of Try This. I want to thank everyone for joining me here on this episode. As always, hit that subscribe button and smash that bell icon so that you'll be notified about future upcoming videos. And you'll be notified as well when I release a video on the Robomow app and all of its features. Thank you, and I'll see you again in the next video.